big thing about LA that's quite sad is there's no like culture or anything like that. You know, I play basketball on Sundays with like folks that wrote scripts for Seinfeld.
This is going to be quite a hectic question.
Oh wait,
But
throw cleaner.
like,
It's about to go down. I mean, I was performing. I think it was last year. I was performing at the casino. You know, everybody's gambling, and I'm playing like the 80s, which is about being addicted to drugs.
oh, that is name.
LA is a very fake place. It's a very fake place. Everybody's living in this bubble.
And depending on how his like stocks went through the night, he'll either buy the more expensive meal, but if they went down a little bit, he'll buy the cheaper meal, like 100%.
I feel sorry for YouTube to say YouTube. I'm going to take some of your memory of your hard drive for this shit.
Bro, that's hectic.
Are we live?
We are live.
Welcome back.
Not live.
Jesus, bro, it's
Not
just
live.
but it's happening.
It's recording.
Wait, before
Just one thing, don't fuck up.
Oh, bro, that's what we want.
Alright.
I like the fucking.
Welcome back to the Hectic Podcast. My name's Jordan Burrs. I'm your host. Malcolm van Selichem to my right and Zander Tolia. They'll be your co-hosts. How are you boys feeling?
Oh, Saturday morning.
It is a Saturday.
It's
It's
a
actually,
change
it's
of
actually,
day,
yeah,
yeah.
it is very
Kind
different.
of like it. I kind of like it.
I kind of like the sunlight, bro.
Yeah.
It really helps the mood.
But we can't like go get pissed after this. I mean, we could.
We could, yeah.
Well, I
Aren't you
mean-
doing a 3-hour cycle after this?
Yeah, no, I was just, it wasn't a suggestion.
That's how I took
I don't know. I
it.
took it
Yeah,
as a
it like that.
suggestion as
Yeah.
well.
So some big things happening in the social media world today. Logan Paul versus KSI tonight. Zans?
No.
Why?
Because they're just trying to make money like out of children who think that's real boxing. It's not. Like,
But do you not
yes,
think
they've
that
been
it's...
training hard, and I appreciate them like being athletes and that kind of thing, and the effort they're putting in. But it just seems unnecessary. Why? Like, they did it once. It was a draw. They made enough money. Okay, let's move on.
Bro, because they want
It's
a
done
winner,
now.
bro.
No, well, obviously that was
the
that
thing is,
fight.
is-
Come on, really? How often do you see boxing matches drawn like that? I mean,
It's a lot more than just two YouTubers fighting now, though. Both of them have become professional. They went through the process of becoming professional. And, I mean, one thing I think, like you said you were irritated about was how Logan Paul was chirping KSI.
Oh, he's acting like a child. Like, look at any other like weigh-ins and that kind of thing. Like, the banter is real. It's like proper men
Okay,
like
bro.
taking each other on.
Who's the
What's
biggest,
10 times 10? Oh, 100. Wow.
Who's the biggest face in MMA? Like, name one name. Go.
Well, I'd say.
Go.
Joe Rogan. Let's go.
No,
I mean,
man.
as a commentator.
Someone
as a
who
commentator.
knows. No,
UFC. I don't know. I don't watch MMA.
Exactly.
Name one MMA fighter.
No, I don't know.
Exactly.
Conor McGregor.
Okay.
Have you
wow.
seen that at a press conference, bro?
He's even worse.
Yeah, but it's not flipping math questions, man. It's like
Bro, that's the
proper-
bad.
That's the whole point.
It's just stupid. It's just stupid.
But,
They are
but
acting
Sans,
like
that's the
children.
thing. Like, what would you have said if you were KSI in that situation? You have no idea, like, what to say. And that's
Tell us to
exactly...
grow up.
That's exactly what Logan Paul is trying to do.
Bro, but he tunes you
just
that, then he
unnecessary.
beats you, then what, bro? Then, like,
Wow, math and boxing, there's so much in common with the two. Eh?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But the thing is
I'm
I think
surprised Logan
what's
even
important,
counts.
Sons, is that they are creating something new that, like, a new part of entertainment. And I think what you need to realize is that YouTube isn't necessarily limited to vlogs.
No, I'm not saying it is. Like,
But then that's why they are bridging that gap. And a lot of other YouTubers have also had fights that just weren't as big as this one. This one is insane, and it's going to be based, like, mainly watched on the internet, and they were saying it's going to be, like, the biggest, like, internet event, yeah.
Again.
And, yeah, again. They're going to beat the viewers that they had last time. Like, that's the idea. And I know they're creating a lot of hype
Okay,
around this,
okay,
and our
yeah.
guest is laughing in the background.
So Logan Paul had that other athletics thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. Nobody went to that.
it was for charity.
Yes, it was for charity, but like it's the same idea. Okay, you're gonna get a bunch of YouTubers go do athletics. It's for charity. Yes, that's cool and everything. Oh, nice. But it wasn't viewed. Like no one went to the actual events. Like it's just people, fans of these YouTubers. They like come to watch. Like,
But this
Okay,
is,
but that's
this
the
is
whole
their
point.
job. Like,
they do.
They're trying
There's
to get
no-
their
they're not
fans
bridging
to,
that. They're
to
not
come and
bridging
watch
that gap.
that.
They're not bridging it. It's not working.
It's going to.
Because they're not professionals.
We'll see the
You say,
stats
okay,
after the
you
fight.
saying a man who trains his whole life to pursue a sport isn't going to be more like watched, or he's not going to get as many like as much of a following as a kid who from Ohio who started a vlog and now has decided to become a boxer.
Okay, my question to
Like,
you
he's
is,
not a
out of all the
professional.
boxing fights and UFC fights that have happened this year, professional, real ones, how many have you known about?
None, because I don't
Exactly,
follow.
exactly. But you
I
know
don't
about
follow
this. You know about this one,
UFC
though.
and MMA.
But you know
yes,
about
because
this
I
one.
know of this one because of you two and everyone
But only
else.
because of us.
Yeah, because of the
Or
stupid
because
hype
of
around.
the fact that it's everywhere over social media, because it is an actual big event.
Well, whatever.
That's true, though. That's true. It is
No,
like a serious.
It's not a
it's
serious event. It's not a serious event. It's one
Massive.
It's two clowns getting into a ring, seeing who can knock each other out.
And I'm going to
That's
enjoy
it.
watching that 100%.
Yeah. We
You're
have two
about
guests
that
come into the studio. They want to join.
Get out of here, man.
Speaking of serious events, I wanted to ask you as if you heard about this. So basically, pilots have a way of there's a code that they put in. The code is 7,500, 7500, somewhere in the cockpit of a plane. And if they put that code in and press some sort of a button, it's basically saying to the airport that they're going to land at that this is a possible hijacking situation. So at the Amsterdam airport of something, bro. Wait.
Drew, can we just get around with at least a fact check?
Yeah, I fact
Yeah,
checked
actually,
this.
for once, Jordan.
So it was from Madrid to Amsterdam. Where is the...
like-
Schiphol Airport.
Drew, like we said, we want to do like a 30-40 minute podcast.
Okay, Schiphol Airport. And basically what I'm trying to say is this pilot accidentally set off the hijacking alarm.
Oh, nice.
Accidentally. Not even he knows exactly what happened.
Dude, of course he knows.
Well, he says he
He's
doesn't.
trained.
He claims
It's the
that he
best
doesn't.
practical joke of 2019.
But that's the thing. It's so serious yet so funny that it was... I think
An
it's more
accident.
like everyone's like... Thank goodness that was a joke. Because that would have been very serious.
Bruce, speaking of serious things, I think it's time to bring on our guest there. Mark, I'll be honest with you, Bruce. Okay, today's guest is a South African that is taking LA by storm. He recently released his EP called Moments. He's a very unique and interesting individual with a mindset that you're going to want to hear. Also, he owns the Lakers. It's Edward Smith.
You do.
Well, I would love to own the
That's
Lakers.
me. That's me
if
fact-checked.
George says it, it's real.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a believer.
No, bro, that's what we do in like all our introductions. We coin a little fake thing. So that's why I said you're South
I was
African.
about to say, how did you know the Lakers? I actually do own the Lakers. Anyway.
Bruce, you're on. We were meant to actually have this podcast last night. And
exactly.
Devolt, so Edward, I don't know what you want to call me. What you want me to call you, Bruce?
Anything, dude. Give me a nickname, call me asshole, it's fine.
So we were meant to do a podcast last night, and you messaged me. You're like, bro, listen, Groot FM just called me. They want me to come on. I was like, bro, where? You can do it tomorrow morning. How was that, bro?
It was very overwhelming, and it was quite nerve-wracking. Like, when you perform, it's all nice because you have an instrument, and everybody has to kind of like shut up and respect you for like 3 or 4 minutes. And sitting down, and I didn't even know what he was going to ask me because it was so quick. So it was quite scary, and I had like my whole family and everybody else listening. So it was like, oh, don't mess this up, don't say stupid things. And because it's very Afrikaans, I threw in a few English words, and I knew it's just going to sound so ratchet,
Did
like
they speak to you in Afrikaans?
yeah, dude.
Did you speak to them in Afrikaans?
Yeah, dude. And I got in some English words, and it just sounded.
Why did you speak English?
Because I don't know.
It's Groot FM.
It's groot.
Oh.
It's groot.
Dude, but you live in LA, bro.
I'm from Pretoria. The box one. Come on. Come on. We're Afrikaners ook.
So we obviously met in high school, St. Albans. These two are from Boys High, if you didn't know.
You can see it.
I mean, it's not a bad thing, Mark. It's not
No.
Bro, but I don't think we've seen each other
Keep
Since-
going. Keep going. Yeah, you're gonna get it right.
since after school.
Yeah.
We haven't, eh?
Perfect, Jordy. Yes, he.
That's a while.
Boys, I'm trying not to. So, dude, I basically just want to ask, like, what the hell have you been doing for the last 3 years, bro?
So I studied music production in South Africa at M&D. I don't know if you know what M&D is, but I did that, and then I decided I was going to go to Los Angeles before, but I wanted to go prepared. I wanted to kind of have an idea of what I'm going to get myself into in terms of music and songwriting and all those things. So I did a few courses in South Africa first, and then I went to LA to check out UCLA and all those places. Then I started studying at UCLA, and it was just pretty much to get into Los Angeles and be in that entertainment environment, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's you don't have like you guys are doing now. You guys are in school doing your thing, but this has nothing really got to do with school. So it's nice to have people like with especially what you guys are doing to talk to and to get these things going, you know. And in LA, you're there and you meet other songwriters and other vocalists and other producers, and then and that's kind of how these things start. So I wanted to be in that environment, and it's very nice to go to classrooms and stuff like that where everybody has the same mindset as you. Like back in school, you're sitting in a science class, and you're like, what? Atoms, what is this? Like, like exactly, like no one has the same interest. Like you play them a song, you're like, listen to that, and everyone's like, oh, okay, cool. I hear the drum, yeah.
But doesn't it scare you in terms of like the competition though?
I don't think, like in South Africa, we have this idea of laying back to every other country. Whenever someone comes in, someone can be as dumb as hell from like, let's say the States or the UK, and you'll already be like, oh, that must be nice. He must like this South African person that I am. You know what I'm trying to say? But as soon as you go that side, you realize that we're all the same. And there's so many people in my songwriting classes and all these things that were really like very bad at what they did. They weren't good songwriters at all, or anything like that. And you kind of just realize you just need to go for it because we're all the same and whatnot. And there is definitely competition and whatnot. But the only competition you really have is because of the numbers behind it. You have a team behind it that is pushing this guy, but if you had to go face to face, you would be surprised that the gap is quite small.
Sure.
But I mean, you've always had this mindset of like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I don't really give a damn what anyone else thinks.
Yeah, it's
even in school.
I have, and in school never helped me, Jordan.
No,
but I know friends in school, just so you guys know. But no, it was. When I started performing, it was quite a tough thing to tell my parents because they're both engineers and they don't really understand the creativity and that side of things. So to be able to like have them say, okay, this guy's not going to change his mind, he wants to do this, let me go do it. And I was also like, I'm young, if you're 21, 22, going on to whatever, even till 24, you're still seriously young. I'm not committed in a relationship or anything like that. I don't have any responsibilities really, so why not just go for it if I have the opportunity? So I did it. Why not?
Fair enough. Are they?
Be serious though. Like, give us the truth.
I'll give you the truth. It's very similar to Pretoria in the sense of how it's laid out. Like if you go to New York, you have all these high buildings and all that type of thing. Where LA, everything's very much spread out and far apart. Like you're like, I live close to Santa Monica, whatever, but that's an hour and a half drive. Right? That's how big LA is. I would say Los Angeles is almost the size of Gauteng in terms of a city. So it's really big, but very spread out. And like if you order something through Amazon or something and they're like, what's your city? You don't say Los Angeles, you say like North Hollywood. That's how big LA is. Okay. Otherwise it's very similar to South Africa. It's a lot safer, of course, and a lot cleaner. But it's desert, it's very hot as well. It's not as beautiful in terms of like scenery and stuff like that. The beaches are average. People say San Marcos is amazing, Venice is amazing. Average beaches, to be honest. The big thing about LA that's quite sad is there's no like culture or anything like that because everybody's coming in and out the entire time. There's no like, how can I say, culture is pretty much the word I'm going for, but there's no everybody's coming there and then they leave if it doesn't work. And then they're staying and they're all taking different jobs and doing different things just to be there, And I'd say at least like 75 to even like 85% of people from Los Angeles aren't really from Los Angeles. Which is quite crazy. And because of all that, hello?
But you're saying like there's no culture within Venice, but I feel like there's so many different people there and so many people running around with cameras, aren't there? There's so many like vloggers and entertainers. Surely that brings like its own sort of...
So isn't the culture like based around entertainment?
Yes, 100%. Okay. But I wouldn't... Like culture was maybe a little bit too big in terms of using that, but I'd say like traditions. There's no like tradition.
So it's like if we want to compare it to where we are right now in Pretoria, it's like every single one of us was born in Pretoria.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But so like it's kind of like this is where you've grown up, sort of a thing. Whereas I think maybe in Los Angeles, like you say, a lot of people are in and out there.
Exactly.
So a lot of people living there moved from either overseas or like somewhere else in America.
Different states, yeah.
Example A. And I think everyone goes there for that specific reason to,
100%.
Like you,
100%.
hopefully get some sort of a connection going with someone and start something.
100%.
So that's really meant.
Yeah.
Nice
That's
one.
exactly
exactly what I meant.
Yeah.
I was gonna listen.
Like, I read that. Yeah, I read that all well.
Brian, you obviously just released your EP,
Yeah.
Moments.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations.
Thanks.
Great
Appreciate
job.
it.
I'm sure
Thanks.
you've been working on it for
Yeah.
a minute.
Yeah. A minute, pretty much.
But like you obviously went to LA to pursue music
Yeah.
and entertainment and stuff.
Yes.
How did you get all those connections in order to produce an EP, that music video?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with so many people coming in and out of LA, surely it's hard to make lasting connections and friends and stuff like that. So
So I had the EP, like most of the songs on the EP are already like a year or two old, you know. But I wasn't confident in myself in terms of my music production skills and that type of thing. And like I said, I was like, when I got out of school, I was still learning music production. So I wasn't too confident with that, but I knew the songs would work. And then I have a godbrother who lives in Florida, and he went to school, also into like an entertainment type school. And he knew a few people that also obviously ran to LA after their studies. And that's kind of how the video started. I sent my manager, I think it was a week before I released the EP. He was like, okay, this song could work. Let's get a video going. Let's do something nice, you know? So he had a couple of friends that, actually quite a big group, almost like you guys doing this podcast. Was there someone that did the editing, someone that did the camera work, someone that did, you know, just the directing and all that type of thing. And that was also a very overwhelming experience and awesome experience as well. And then we did that, kind of came together, and getting to your question with all like the in and outs and all that. You know, I'm studying entertainment studies at UCLA. So with my courses, like I do songwriting and all these kinds of things. And most of those people that in my classes as well from like, I'd say like Cyprus and Spain and Sweden.
oh wow.
A lot of foreigners. And the nice thing about it is you don't feel out because they are also out.
Yeah.
You know, so we kind of hang out together. Most of the foreigners guys, we like hanging out. We're like, hey, let's do songwriting. And we all have the same mindset of taking on LA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So connection-wise, you're fine because you're around that group of people doing different things. You know, especially in entertainment studies, it's so broad. It's music, it's acting, it's film, and all those type of things. So you have a friend that's a good video editor. You know, you have a friend that's good with lyrics. You have a friend that's a good producer. You have a friend that's good with cameras. You have a friend, you know, all these things that's good with script writing. You know, I play basketball on Sundays with like oaks that wrote scripts for Seinfeld. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, but they're old guys and they're full shit. But they definitely, you know, and that's typical, like, LA. You'll run into different people all the time.
So would you say it's more a vibe of like everyone's got each other's backs more than like they're my competition, so I don't want to help them?
It's
I
a double-sided
think-
coin, bro.
Now, I hear what you're saying. Like I say, in terms of the foreigner thing, it's backing each other because you're all new to this country, you know. So
Yeah.
you're all coming together, trying to like prove and kind of just show to the rest of the world that it's not about the person in LA, you know, and it's not. That's all the same. It's just going for it. On the other hand, LA is a very lonely place, to be 100% honest, because everybody's going for this one thing, and you don't want anyone to be better than you. That, you know, that's just sport. Like, you're not going to go and help, like you doing your cycling stuff. You're not going to go and help someone that you don't even know cycle and challenge you on Saturday whenever you do your race. You're just not going to do that. And I also don't get along with a lot of Americans anyway, because they're also full of cucks. But so when it comes to that, I do keep a lot of my stuff to myself. Like all my music I did by myself, the editing, the mastering, the mixing, the writing, everything. And that way it's purely me, and whatever I get from that, it's mine. Even whether it's hate comments or whatever, it's fine. But I don't want to personally go into like someone else's like mindset or team that's like, oh, we want you to be like this. We want your name to be this. You have to follow this thing. And that's maybe something you have to accept later on, you know, if you do go into a group or whatever. But I feel like now I can still kind of learn and be myself, doing my own thing and being an individual, not worrying too much about others in that way.
Would you? This is going to be quite a hectic question.
Oh, wait.
But
throat cleaner.
like,
it's about to go down.
I think so. But
Okay.
from the Americans specifically, is there any sort of like xenophobic like feel to things where like they feel like they're doing you a favor by like letting you into their country? And like obviously specifically talking about LA, that is the place to go, like you said.
Yeah.
It's the place to go if you want to do this sort of thing. But what do they feel about that? Like, do they not feel like you're coming there and like although obviously you are really talented and
Mhm.
stuff, do they not give you any sort of a vibe of like they're doing you a favor?
Honestly, they don't, which is
Okay.
quite nice. And I think the reason for that is because LA is full of Mexicans. that's the first thing, which is the truth, you know. And whether you have citizenship or anything like that as a Mexican or Hispanic person, they always have this small or slight fear in the back of like people don't want us here. You know, they feel out, even though it's pretty much like LA is kind of like a Mexican Hispanic vibe, speaking Spanish and all that type of thing. So there's always that. That's quite sad for them. But I feel like if you go, like I said, in terms of having a lot of foreigners and stuff there, it's everybody's kind of in the same boat.
Yeah,
You know, it's not about you're not allowed to be here, but as soon as you're the one speaking, you're probably from a different place.
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
you know.
true.
So everybody is embracing it in a way, and I think LA wouldn't be LA if they didn't have people coming from different places. You wouldn't have The Rock Johnson and all these guys, Kevin Hart coming from Philadelphia and all this. We make that entertainment business. These different guys coming there. That's what LA is. Without LA, if LA didn't have movie stars and singers and songwriters and people staying there, you wouldn't go to LA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to LA for Hollywood. You're going to LA to see Beverly Hills where all these famous people live. You're going to LA to see Ellen DeGeneres or Jimmy Kimmel and these guys, even though they don't come from LA. You see, so they
It
make
seems to just all happen there.
exactly. They make that environment, and in that way, it's kind of like acceptable to come there and be a foreigner and try and pursue this entertainment thing because that's what it's all based on.
Are you performing live shows there?
No, because I just released the EP. So
is that the plan?
So
that is
holding
the plan.
thumbs.
Yeah, I'm holding thumbs. We'll see.
Where do you
We'll
play
see.
there? Like small bars?
Yeah, you do. You play small bars. Pretty much, they have like these open mic nights and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I'm trying to get a little bit out of that because a lot of my songs and stuff are super sad. And I said it on the radio last night. I was like, I've been playing sad songs. And that's why I kind of started the music production because I wanted to add like a kick drum and all these cool things. But I was writing a lot of sad songs and stuff. And then you see like this old lady eating her burger crying. You know? I mean, I was performing, I think it was last year, I was performing at the casino. You know, everybody's gambling and I'm playing like the A-Team, which is about being addicted to drugs. And you see this old lady, what did you... You know?
Yeah.
And then even like the manager's like, you need to beat it up a bit, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I've kind of like got into that trap of playing slow songs at restaurants, which is appropriate because you want to have like that guitar guy singing in the corner softly doing his thing, no drums, because you're always having your own conversations and stuff like that, especially in pubs and stuff like that. But I want to slowly but surely kind of like start performing for an actual crowd.
Yeah.
You know, that's even if it's for like 20 minutes or half an hour, but they're there for the music. That's what I want. I don't want to perform and have someone drop a plate, whoosh, everyone, oh, I'm like, I was just in the chorus of that song. What are you doing? You know, so that's pretty much just trying to get out of that.
But it was quite cool. Like we're listening to a few of your songs before you came, and like you're saying, where you put that like that kick drum beat in when I think it's "Fall in Love," and it has like this nice little. I don't know what you.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know what you call it.
Like it was literally like a beat in the background, and we were like listening to it. We were like both, you know, working on stuff, and we were like, okay, oh, this is really good. And then the beat like came in like out of nowhere. We were like,
it gave me like a
this is
vibe
really
of like
nice.
of like Sunset Lover,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it's very chill. Like I had that melody also like a year or two ago, and the thing that makes it like hit on the job in that way is I take a lot of the instruments away a second or two just before it, which most producers do. So they take it away, and also the lyric and I follow you, and it hits. So it also hits it at the right time. And it's a lot of like wave stuff that you put underneath it. So like if you have a synth, it goes, and you put like a kickstart. What is it? The plugin's called kickstart, but you use that and then it gives it like a wave. So it goes, and it hits with a kick. So it goes, and it
People love it. I'll tell you, I love that. Really.
It's a jam.
That was brilliant.
It's a jam.
So being in LA, obviously you get a closer look into these like celebrities' lives and stuff like that. Like on a daily basis, a weekly basis, like is it common to like see like Jay Alvarez or like a no?
Like I live in Universal City, which is kind of in the valley of Los Angeles. So you'll probably see more people, like celebrities there, than what you'd see in like Hollywood, because they avoid Hollywood. everybody's in Hollywood, you know. I've seen a few celebrities. I've met Macaulay Culkin. I don't know if you guys know him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kid from
Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Oh, serious?
Oh, is that his name? And I've met his girlfriend, the Asian girl from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
She's like...
But no,
She's turned into quite a flair, man.
Bro, she's so nice.
She's a nice person.
Yeah, fantastic. And I've also met the guy from New Girl, the black guy Wilson. You guys watch New Girl?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, well, I've met him. I met him by accident. He was just like, you know, servicing his i8, casual, dude. And then there was that little Instagram story. I'm just taking my baby in. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, but that you don't really see so many. Like you'll see them where you aren't at the tourist attractions because they avoid those places. So you go early in the morning to the beach or whatever, but a beach that's not very busy, and you'll probably see one of them, you know, or something like that. But
cool.
hardly.
And since you moved to LA, do you think like your drive and your passion for what you want to do and like your vision, because like South Africa is, let's be honest, like it's quite a chilled place. No one really like extends themselves.
Nice.
And like,
Let's go Booker.
Unless you see a Khaleesi.
so what I'm basically asking is like, has it? You come back here after you've been to LA and you're like in this hustle, and you get back here and everyone's like, "Hey, bro, you want to go get a brandy?" And like, is it a bit frustrating, or do you like it, or?
Well, it depends on the mindset that you're in. I think if with you starting your cycling and your swimming and all this type of things that you're doing, it's trying to find that balance of when you want to be serious and when you're just gonna like take a break, because I can't produce and make music the entire time. You know, my ears will die and I'll get a headache and it will just get like crazy. And you can't cycle the whole day and you can't do this the whole day. So it's trying to find that balance of also just getting away, so when you come back to whatever you're doing, you have a fresh mind and you can kind of take it on from there. But coming back is something that I wouldn't want to live in Los Angeles for a long time, to be honest, just because it's like everything's here, right? That's the first thing, and I miss South Africa quite a bit. And like I said, you don't want to go to a place where there's no like traditions or anything like that, where you just know that the friend you have now might not be there tomorrow. Not that he'll be dead, he's just moving.
Yeah, just
Exactly. So that's kind of, and it's also, LA is a very fake place. It's a very fake place. Everybody's living in this bubble.
clickbait right
You know.
there. LA is fake.
No, it is. It's a seriously like, you know, I had a roommate who he just got a new job and he sold his car. There's no problem with a freaking car. Sold his car, got money back for the car, bought a new car, and he's like in $40,000 debt with his new car because he wanted to get the nicest one. But that's a typical LA thing. And I'm not saying everybody in LA can't afford what they buy, but majority can't. You know, you have housekeepers and ladies with Louis Vuitton handbags. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And because of all that, LA is very fake. Everybody's so scared about what people think about them.
The image.
You know, the image thing is massive, even though nobody cares. Like, as soon as you do have the car and you get out and you see no one's watching, you're like, come on.
But
Why
is
everyone's watching?
it a thing of like, let me use the word standard. Like, it's standard to have this car, so you feel like you should as well.
The thing that people that don't understand is you're earning different salaries. You have an actor and an artist that's earning millions of dollars compared to someone who's earning $15 an hour. You know, and if you look at that, you can't even. I mean, you could also have a standard thing in Pretoria, but we're just mindful about it. Like, you actually can't. The way someone lives, you know, living in Brooklyn to someone living in like Mamelodi, it's just let's be obvious. It's not the same, you know. And because of that, you know, you have people making hundreds of millions of dollars, paying $20-30 million for a house in Ballet and all these places. And if you look at that amount of money, and they're buying a car like it's petty cash, you know, like a $100,000 car is nothing. But for other people, like $100,000 is like 10 years of working their asses off and type of thing, you know. So they don't have that balance.
But then why are the people like?
Image.
Is it only image?
Definitely.
Like they're doing it for image.
People don't move to LA to become a housekeeper. They move to LA to become a Logan Paul or whatever.
Yeah.
And when that doesn't happen, I think their ego gets a bit like hurt, and they're like
100%. And the thing is, it's also, like I said, it's a lonely place, and if you don't have people around you that just accept you for who you are and all that type of thing, you get in a lonely place where you're sitting by yourself and you're overthinking shit, and you're like, no, you know, I want this person I don't even know to care about what I have or what I drive or what I wear, you know. And It's quite sad, but it's the truth. Everybody just wants to be like everyone else in LA. You want to be that guy. I live in Hollywood. Like when you think of, if I say look at someone, or look at this wall and imagine someone is in Los Angeles, what does he have? He'd be like, no, he's got an AMG G-Wagon, and he's got Louis Vuitton shoes or bag, and he's wearing Calvin Klein, and he's wearing Gucci slops. You know, you're like, oh, okay, that guy probably lives in LA with a Hollywood sign in the background, even.
Yeah.
You know, but that's like, and everybody's like trying to live in that, like that image, like you said, could probably be the standard. You know, everyone wants to look like that, but that's not the reality of things, and they don't want to go into that reality. They'd rather be in an enormous amount of debt type thing and just lie to themselves. But I also think you only get that perspective from a South African or maybe from another third world country, because here we work so hard for so little. You know, there you're working an hour for $15, even though your taxes and all your food and stuff is a lot more expensive. But you're talking about making 1,500 rand a day.
Yeah.
Where here you will probably make that in a week. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's also like we get a lot further in South Africa with the money that we make, even though it's little, because we know that. It doesn't really care. You don't really care about what people think. It's about you setting up your own family, your own house, and something. And they don't have that. If they did have that, it would be a totally different story. They'd be doing a lot better.
It just doesn't make sense because you'll spend. Maybe you can tell me how much like Gucci slippers cost.
Probably like $600.
Yeah, but that makes absolutely no sense
Why
whatsoever.
would you
I could
drop
survive
that?
on a month.
10 grand.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I could survive a month with that. It's just really
quite a
doesn't make
lavish
sense.
life.
Yeah, that's
quite a nice
good
brand. Let's see. We're talking about brandy and coke.
It's on me, boy. It's on me.
No, it's true. Like, it's quite sad. Like when you see a housekeeper, you know, wearing Louis Vuitton stuff, and you're like, you're struggling so much. You can actually see it in the person's face that they're not happy, that they're living this fake life. And the thing that you want out of having an image and stuff like that, you don't get. You know, you're going out to get an image and be like, okay, I want people to turn their heads and look at me and be amazed and all this type of thing. And then, like I said, as soon as you get it, you're like, what was the point? No one really cares.
It's like regretting something that you've bought.
Exactly, and they fall in that trap every single time. They reach that stage, but they don't learn from it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You can see some crazy stuff. You see the prices of Louis Vuitton bags.
Dude, aren't they
You
like
can buy
that
cars here for a bag.
literally, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
for a bag?
Yeah, for a bag.
You'd rather go
Like
buy a
$5,000.
leather bag, a beautiful leather bag in South Africa than go buy some crappy Louis Vuitton thing. Let me tell you that.
And my question is like, besides the brand, let's meet from
Yeah.
an engineering standpoint, right?
Of course.
What
Definitely nothing.
what real flippin' benefit is it actually going to give you to have a Louis Vuitton bag, which is like leather? Yeah,
Just the image.
but I mean, is that a real Louis Vuitton hat?
No, they handed these out.
But I mean, the thing is like
Right time,
to us, it's just a hat.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
it serves its purpose of
course.
being a hat.
Mhm.
Why do you need to go buy a
No,
$100 Louis
It's true.
Vuitton hat?
100%. I think the thing that kind of helped me to kind of avoid all that image type thing is that, you know, you guys have this whole setup, and I also love music production, all the music equipment stuff, and it's always so good to have something to compare things to. Like whenever you buy something and you have that mindset of, I could actually go buy 10 of these with that, then it makes you stop suddenly and you think, okay, well, you know, like if you're paying $600 for Gucci slippers or whatever, to think you guys could have bought a microphone for a camera for this, and
Yeah.
a whole setup, amazing
Exactly.
with monitors and everything. You're like, whoa, I'm gonna buy these stupid stops that I probably
Yeah.
don't even want to wear because they're so nice.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's not even an investment because,
Not even
as
close.
you say,
Are
if
they-
the investment would be considered, so theoretical situation, you buy an AMG, this is going to somehow get you more like notice. Like people are going to notice you more. That's the theory
Yeah, of
behind
course,
what these people
of
are
course.
doing. But if you consider that as the only possible way of it being an investment, and you're saying it doesn't work, like people don't pay more attention to you, then it just means that it's a waste of money. Whereas going out and for us, like $600 would improve our setup so much. It's an actual joke.
Of course.
And I think that would be a way better investment in terms of your money.
No, but I
But they
think
already have all that. Like, people
Yeah. Like,
I mean,
it's
if
all
you're
relative.
spending that much money on like a bag or slippers or something, like
Yeah,
you just got money to like spend. Like
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
not in all situations, like a housekeeper with a bag, Louis Vuitton bag, but majority of the time, if you're gonna buy $600 slippers and not wear them, 'cause
We hope
yeah.
that you can't afford your rent and stuff like
I
that.
mean, that's why it's there. That's what it's marketed towards.
The thing also is like, if you think about the whole image thing, like you saying it as like an asset or whatever, if you do get like the looks and stuff like that, it's still not an asset.
No, yeah.
Even if you still have people looking around, looking at you, whatever, it's still quite a shit buy. End of story.
Yeah.
You'll look at Warren Buffett, who's got how many trillions of dollars, billions of dollars, whatever. He's still driving a little Toyota.
He drives literally, I think, a Toyota Corolla.
Exactly.
And he goes to McDonald's and he lives in a normal house. Completely normal house. Like, he's actually like,
dude,
I watched a documentary. Like, he gets McDonald's every morning.
Dude,
and depending on how his like stocks went through the night, he'll either buy the more expensive meal, but if they went down a little bit, he'll buy the cheaper meal, like 100%. And there's a guy
the
with
difference is like
billions and billions of dollars. Yeah, and it's like a few cents difference. But that's
his mind.
That's
a
the
lot
difference.
more sustainable.
But that's the
let's put it that
difference.
way. Yeah.
That's the difference. Like, you kind of make your name and your image by you.
Yeah.
You respect Warren Buffett even if he rocks up with a motorbike. You're gonna respect him.
Yeah.
So
true.
it's about building up who you are and your name and that type of thing, and not about your clothes.
Right, the reputation of image.
Yeah, it's like that classic meme of, I'm pretty sure it was Bill Gates and Steve Jobs or something standing next to one another. And it's like, not a Gucci belt inside. And that's exactly like what we say.
Yeah, but you see all those rappers with like the ice and the chains, and then you look at like Steve Jobs. I listened to some other podcast that was speaking about this, how like all these billionaires that have like made these tech companies and stuff, you wouldn't even think like if you saw them on the street. But a rapper that makes 0.5% of what they've made,
which is still a lot.
Yeah, it's still a lot, but it's
the thing that you'll realize with artists and actors and all these things is like, if you see a guy with a lot of chains and all crazy, he's probably poor.
Yeah,
and he's struggling. But a lot of the times, I'm telling you, like your Kylie's, Kardashians, and all these people, they honestly don't worry about money. I'm going to be honest with you.
They don't have to.
No, but they've made so much money that they've actually hit that stage where it's like they realize it doesn't have that much meaning. You work your whole life to. I mean, she's already like a billionaire or whatever, Kylie, whatever. And she actually a long time ago realized that money isn't everything. So whatever we see in terms of like them always having these things about, I got Louis Vuitton bags. Comment down below and you can get all these things. That's sponsorships. So we might feel like they go and buy these things just to buy it. But for a lot of these people that are really, really like rich, they are sponsored. Like Justin Bieber got paid like $80 million to wear Calvin Klein.
He wears a new pair of Calvin Klein every day.
Yeah.
Ooh, must be nice.
He wears it and like throws it away.
But you see, that's different. Like we don't make that mistake of judging them and saying like you guys are being materialistic, because that's them wearing what they're wearing might be business. So it's finding that gap. Like you will know if someone is buying stuff to buy stuff. Just look good. Like I say, a housekeeper wearing Louis Vuitton. Really? Are you sponsored?
Sponsored by their boss.
Best cleaning service in LA.
Best on the metro.
Bro, but I think let's go back to your music a bit. In terms of inspiration, how do you come up with these songs, and like who are your favorite artists that push you towards like this sort of obviously Ed Sheeran?
There you go.
But
serious.
Nailed. Oops. Even though I was Jordan, I spoke about Ed Sheeran when he was still a baby. That's true. I was good. No, so like I was a big Bieber fan. I have to accept that on camera. So.
But
look, what he did is
insane.
Yeah, 100%.
Literally
100%. There's a lot of things like I like Justin Bieber, like the artist profile behind him, the way he was such a good performer. He almost like he just did it so right, as an artist. And Ed Sheeran's songwriting is just insane. I've got a great love for songwriting now because of him and his acoustic style of things. And then I also became a very big fan of Kygo. I'm a big fan of Kygo. It's like
that's who I was thinking about with that drop.
With that song, I like I like dance music and going to ultra and all these things, but a lot of it is just like one massive hard kick and it's very big. Where Kygo brought like this tropical house dance vibe to something that you can listen to for an hour.
Tropical, that's definitely the right word, yeah.
And that kind of vibe is something that I felt like you could throw in with just some good song, because a lot of dance music don't have amazing songwriting. The songwriting is very simplistic. Yeah, get in bed. Ooh, we had a great night. Oh no, I miss you. Oh, okay, cool. We get it. Every single girl's probably the same chick. Sounds like a strip club. But just bringing those things together, and for me, it was always like, if I had to make the perfect artist, it would be like this Bieber character with the Ed Sheeran acoustic and songwriting and the Kygo dance element to get that bounce that you want. Because, like I said, I want to perform in a restaurant where people are crying while eating the pizza.
Yeah.
You know?
So would you say that's like your goal?
That is what I went after. Like, I'm going slightly out of the Justin Bieber thing and even maybe a lot of Ed Sheeran's acoustic stuff as well, because Ed Sheeran's fully acoustic. So
Yeah.
I'll just take like Ed Sheeran's songwriting, and then I'll take like Kygo's production, and maybe a little bit of Justin Bieber style, but it's just nibbling from that to kind of make my own thing. Because I had an artist that I was working with who's with Universal Music, and he always just bullshits himself like crazy. Telling himself, no, you mustn't look at everybody else. You must just be yourself. Just be yourself. I'm like, you can't be yourself.
You can't be unique.
Exactly. But also you have to have influences. If you're a rugby player or whatever, and you're in that position, you're watching Dwayne Vermeulen and like, hey, I want to catch a ball like that guy. I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to kick cock like fuck if I want to do shit. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, you look at other people's things, you like, and that's how you kind of get your own thing. Like, I like that songwriting style. Maybe not the words, but let me take the style.
Yeah.
And that's where all my stuff kind of came together. When I found out about Chicago and all those things, that's where my production thing started. Songwriting happened late matric, and I was always singing and doing acoustic in school, so that's pretty much where it started.
Can't lie, I'm quite keen to see you perform on that couch, bro, after this.
Mr. Right, I got you. That's the pillar. That's the pillar.
That's the pillar.
How much we on you? Oh,
41
beautiful,
minutes.
bro.
41 minutes.
Bro, so what does the future hold for Edward
I don't know.
Smith?
I don't know. I don't think anybody could see that far. I got back and I was on radio and at an interview, so it's gonna get worse. No, well, one thing that's kind of nice is that I've realized it's actually you always think it's tough to just go and ask and go to the radio station, but I was like, thank you for playing my songs and stuff like that, and you're always so scared to do that because you feel like these oaks are above you and that type of thing, and then you realize they're just nice guys, normal people, super chilled, and I'm glad I went through that because it gives me a lot more confidence for the future to be like, if you want to go talk to a music label, just go talk to a music label. You've got nothing to lose. You've got nothing to lose, But you have that fear as an artist,
Of course.
And I think just being because I went yesterday to Groot event because they played my song, like they started playing it last week or whatever, and then I was like, even my parents were like, dude, just go say thank you, whatever, because this is obviously a great opportunity. So I was like, thank you, and the guy's like, oh, do you want to do an interview tonight? I was like, sure, let's do it, and just to see how easy it was and how simple it was and how quickly
you weren't even trying to.
Exactly. I was just saying thank you, and he offered me and he gave me his quantities and all that type of thing. So that was like to think, if you do go and try, how much can you get? And if you get the same, that's amazing because you get something. If you get nothing or whatever, you just leave and don't like the guy.
Yeah.
And talk bad about him behind his back.
Exactly.
But I definitely think that's a massive point to take away.
Yeah.
Why should we care?
I think we'll take that into account.
Why should we care what people think?
If you don't ask, you'll never know.
And that's one thing. Like I was coaching basketball at St. Albans as well. Last year and the year before, and as soon as you see like the matrics and stuff leaving, they're always like, oh, so what are you doing? Oh, what car do you drive? Oh, everyone's living in that matric bubble.
We were all there.
Everyone's in that bubble, right? And then I just told each other, I was like, the day you leave high school, no one cares about you. Honestly, you can do whatever you want. No one cares. You'll find out this guy is failing this, or this guy had a car accident there, this guy shagged this chick, or whatever. Everyone just be like, okay.
What else?
What's
There's this saying that I've been like, with the whole training thing that I've been like trying to like looking at daily. It's work harder and nobody cares. And to be honest, like you might care about like my finish time, but at the end of the day, you don't really care if I go train today.
No.
You don't actually like. It doesn't even phase you.
I mean,
it doesn't affect you.
Yeah. but also go train. No, I think it's like it's also there was this whole hype about finishing matric, and then you go on VAC, and it's like then you have the holiday after that, and everything's great, and then you work in, like for me to walk into my first engineering lecture, and I'm like, it was really cool because everyone's like, wow, you made it into engineering, congratulations, are you ready? And I walk into that lecture, I had one friend, and everyone else was way cleverer than me, and none of them cared whether or not I had a question.
And now it's like, you better be passing in third year.
Yeah, now it's just like, you better be passing. That's the only thing everyone cares about. And they don't really even care. Like, obviously my parents care.
Of course.
But if I came to you guys and I was like, I failed 3 modules this semester out of my 4, you'd be like, wow, bro, that's terrible.
Jack up.
Yeah, like, cool, you know?
But I think it's also the fact that when you leave school and you're driving in your own car or whatever right now, you've got freedom, you have to kind of work with the money that you get in obviously in a sustainable way and whatnot. You realize that, shit, I have to take care of myself.
Yeah.
I need to worry about myself.
Yeah.
You know, if those folks need to do their own thing, I can't spend and waste time on someone else.
Yeah.
You know, I've got friends that I'm very close with in music and stuff like that, but I can't help this guy. You know, some people you just can't help. He's like, even though I would, this is going to take so many more hours than I have.
Yeah.
So I need to focus on myself and do my own thing. And with that, you have so much time to do something like this and be creative. And this kind of, like, you'll obviously have more and more guests, but you'll learn so many more different things about different people and get like, yes, that's a good thing that we should bring into the podcast, or that's something that we can use to build up. And it's so much better than being in a pub drinking.
Yeah.
Even though you guys are probably going to go to a pub drinking.
And, dude, that's probably the coolest thing for me on this podcast is like hearing so many people's different perspectives, but also making so many more like connections.
100%.
So like, dude, 50 episodes in, we have 50 connections with 50 different people
that we
different
never would have.
Of course.
Never would have spoken
Of
to,
course.
never would have met.
Of course.
Anything like that.
Of course. And the one thing you also realize, like when I did vlogs, I deleted them because
I saw that,
they
bro.
were terrible.
Terrible, man.
Let me tell you.
Tell me you put them on private. Tell me you didn't delete
I
it.
delete them.
No, man.
Why would I put them on private?
Bro, like when you 50,
I feel
bro,
sorry for
bro.
YouTube to say, YouTube, I'm going to take some of your memory of your hard drives for this shit. That's not happening.
She's doing that,
Bro, I listened to I watched those things, I was like, yes. What were you doing? Even the sound of the Logan Paul sound effects there. All the shit, I was like, oh my god. You know? But luckily, I wasn't in a relationship or anything like that. So I was like, yo, luckily I didn't have anyone by my side that was like, yo, I'm disappointed. What is this? No, that was, you guys will see. Go back to your first podcast. You guys
We
You
know.
guys gonna be like,
I'm avoiding it. I'm not gonna lie.
do it, trust.
But you can only get better, bro.
It's the best. It's the best. It's good to see, and that's also one reason I released. Like I said, a lot of the songs are 2 years old, and the songs that I'm gonna bring out in future are a lot newer, and also I feel a lot better. And with all of that, I was like similar to like saying going back to your old videos and stuff like that. I was like, I had these songs 2 years ago. They were good, and I was like, I just want to release something. You know, this was my goal for this year. Release the EP, and then I also want to be able to go back, because you put it on social media now, you can go back to it.
Yes.
Like, okay, this is what I was like
It's very cool.
at that age, and be like, okay, this is what I wrote about and stuff like that. So that's also one reason I was like, I needed to be able to see where I started. You know, so
Don't forget where you started.
100%.
And you make it big.
100%.
Bro, thanks for coming on.
Oh, yeah.
It's been great. Do you want to plug your socials?
No, it's fine. Should I?
Do it,
Yes,
bro.
100%.
At the Edward Smith.
On everything.
Instagram.
YouTube,
YouTube,
Edward
it's
Smith.
Edward Smith Music. Yeah. check it
Apple
out.
Music.
Apple Music, yeah. Just search Edward Smith. I won't pop up. It's
No,
got
you
all
did,
the way to
actually.
the bottom.
No, you did,
Yeah, you
actually.
did.
First artist.
Actually, I was surprised. You actually came up. Oh. Oh. Okay.
Bro, but yo, big thanks
No,
for
I
coming
appreciate
on.
it.
Good
No,
luck,
thank you so
good
much.
luck in LA,
Gotcha.
bro.
Thanks, dude.
Go kill
Appreciate
it.
We'll be looking out for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
don't come here with Gucci slippers, bro.
If they hand them out, I'm coming in. If they hand them out, I'm coming in there.
But thanks for tuning in to the Hectic Podcast. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like this video, and we will check you next week. I don't know who's coming on next week.
I'll put you on my YouTube as well.
We will love
I'll
it.
share you.
It's my boy. Aware.
That's our boy.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Take care.
Woo!